Now, what year did you get straightened out?
2003.
Okay. So you're like 30?
I'm 35.
You're 35.
Yeah.
Okay. You're aging well.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So you're 35. And did you have to kill somebody?
Yeah. So the way I got made is I had to go on a hit in New York City. So the boss at this time was in New York, was the official boss of the family. He wanted me directly with him. His name was Arillotta.
During the hit?
No, he wanted me to be officially, you know how I said Bruno put me on record with him?
Yeah.
So Bruno became boss in 2001.
Okay.
So he's the boss now, and he wants to make me with him and it's about 6, 7 other guys, Connecticut, Mass guys, underneath him.
Gotcha.
Build up his crew.
Yep.
I'm one of them. And around, this is in 01, Bruno becomes official boss of Connecticut and Western Mass. So I'm back around Bruno now because we had a couple beef during those 2 years when I got caught with the weed. He was mad. He wanted to kill me.
Right.
Because they don't want drug dealing and, like that.
Right.
And he was worried that he was going to get killed because I was reporting, he was responsible for me.
Yeah.
So in 98, he gets out of prison. I get back around him. I start going to New York a lot more. Meanwhile, those 2 years, I was dealing with every walk of life there was. I made millions of dollars in those 2 years that I wasn't around Bruno and the Mafia.
Right.
So now I'm back. I'm going to New York a lot. I mean, all kinds of captains and bosses with Bruno, the heads of the family, all that. So
was that exciting for you?
it wasn't exciting because I was doing it my whole life. Like I was meeting I was doing business with made guys in New York the years that I wasn't supposed to be doing any business. And in my whole life I was doing business. I was in prison with serious made guys. I was like around them my whole life. And so meeting the guys like that, and that's why they took a liking to me, because they could tell I was real. Like I was genuine. I was I wasn't a fake.
Right.
And
you knew how to kind of just act like you belonged.
Yeah. I
you
mean,
were starstruck by.
It's just certain way a guy acts when you're a serious guy. You I don't know how, it's just in you. It's just,
totally.
There's no acting. It just is you. That's who it is.
That's right.
There's no faking, and it comes out. If you're faking and you're not being your true self, eventually you're going to, get called out for it. And Bruno became boss in 01. I started going down more now with him. I was there when he got told he was the official boss. The New York bosses came to his restaurant in Springfield.
Okay.
And at that time, they were using 3 bosses to run the family in New York. So the captains, Pat DeLuca and Artie Nigro was a soldier. They come up to Springfield and they give word to Bruno that he is the official boss, because the boss in Connecticut and Mass, they were under indictments. There was a racketeering case in 2000 that took the Springfield and Connecticut boss, and the 2 of them, there was Albert Chabelli and Anthony DeLavo. They were under indictment now.
Right.
So they were going to go to Anthony got 3 years. This Babbitt guy was going to get either prison time or whatever.
Right.
So they needed someone else to, and plus they were on bail. So they make Bruno the boss.
Bruno stepped up, yeah.
Bruno was running the I'm working with him. He wants to make me, other guys, we're going back and forth to New York. Now, at this time, they put us with this guy, John Bologna. He's the guy that's going to be the bad guy of this whole story.
Okay. John, what's his name?
John Bologna. He destroyed, him and Arthur Nigo destroyed there is no Mafia today, no existence like it was when I, until 2010 when I was there.
Yeah,
right?
in Springfield.
He destroyed it. Artie Nigro around 2002, 3, right around there, late 02. He's got this guy, John Bologna, coming up in 01. And he's like a messenger back and forth between the Genovese family in New York and the faction. And they used to come up to Springfield because that's where we are. The headquarters outside of New York was Springfield.
Right.
We for Connecticut. Yep. And, So this guy was coming up, and he starts coming up real low life looking, 6'3", heavy set guy, wore glasses, had a scruffy beard. It just looked like the first time I met him, I had a bad vibe with him. I said, this guy is no good. He starts coming up, and he starts planting himself every weekend in Springfield. And he's getting to know me more, getting to know our crew more. I have the biggest crew. I have the most vicious crew. I have the most violent crew. I have everything going on. There was 2 guys that were supposed to be getting made with me, this kid, Joey and Reno. Joey didn't have going on. He just came home from prison a couple years before, so he didn't have no crew. He didn't have no money making on the street. In fact, I was helping him, make money in the loan shark in the sports. The other kid, Reno, was a construction worker, and those 2 were going to get made. So now New York is coming up and they see what's going on here. I own nightclubs. I own restaurants. I had all this stuff on the street going on. I had the crew with me. We go to Hartford, Connecticut. I had the biggest nightclub there. I'm taking these guys out when we go out. So it was like I'm entertaining them. And so this guy's going back to reporting to New York and they're saying this kid Anthony is
killing it.
He's killing it. He's, So I'm getting a big reputation. So Artie now at this time goes from a soldier to becoming a boss, which is, you don't hear that, right?
Right.
And the reason
captain.
why they were using a panel and the guy that one of the bosses on the panel was going to go to jail for 5 years, he wanted his guy Artie to fulfill his spot.
Right.
Artie ends up getting the spot. The other two bosses didn't want Artie there. So that goes to show you that they didn't want Artie there. He wasn't the guy for the job.
And he got bumped up in Springfield or New York?
No, this is New York.
Okay. Gotcha.
New York is where the bosses are, and when I see it like that, they're the one that make the decisions, what's going on in our area, like who's going to be boss in our area. And no money went down to New York, like I was telling you, until Artie becomes boss now. Now we start doing shakedowns in our area. We're shaking down. We built it up. It was supposed to be 500 and 500 from these two guys. This guy that owned the strip club, they were supposed to pay 500 a week. It went from 1,000 a week to like 50,000 a month. We were shaking down people. Everyone was getting shaken down.
That's bad.
Street guys, businesses.
Right.
And that's what Artie created through this piece of shit. And the guy, John Bologna, wasn't a made guy. All right, so around 2002-ish and right around 3, I'm down in the Bronx, New York. And now Artie's getting to really, he's the boss now. And I know it, but Bruno doesn't know it, and Bruno's the boss. So I'm in the know because I'm close with this guy, John, even though, I don't trust him, kind of. Like, I don't like him, but he's direct with Artie.
Yeah.
Even though he's not a made guy. So I don't know anything. I just know I don't like him, but I don't know anything else, right? So I'm down in the Bronx, New York, and I'm with Artie, and a guy pulls up. We get in his car. It's the boss of the Gambino family, and he sees John Bologna there. He calls him JB. He says, "What's JB doing here?" He says, "He's no good. He's an informant. He's a rat. We chased him." And Artie says, "That's good to know, this, that, whatever." He's, So I get out of the car and we're talking alone, me and Artie. So what's up with that? Why is he saying that? Like what this guy goes, I don't pay no mind. They're jealous that he's around me now.
What?
Around me. Yeah.
Why would they be jealous of like a nobody?
So that's what he told me. And so this was like around 03-ish, right? Now, this guy, John, like I said, he was coming up every weekend. Okay. As he's coming up, we're doing all kinds of shakedowns. And I said, John...
Did you get a bad feeling about these shakedowns?
Yeah, we never did them.
Yeah.
And I was just going to tell you. I just was going to tell you. I go, John, you got us shaken down. You can get 20 years for this, 30 years. Right. I mean, it's extortion and it's, a threat to violence. We're mob guys and they give you 20 years, you know? And I go, we could get 20 years with our records, 30 years. We had horrible records. I go, would you be doing this in your area? He goes, are you kidding me? He goes, we'd get 30 years. I go, then why are we doing it in our area? That's what a scumbag piece of shit is. And Artie's giving them the okay. And Bruno's involved too, so he's just as blamed. But Artie, and then Bruno's giving him some money back to New York. So out of that 50,000, Bruno's sending like 15,000 a month of that down to New York.
Right.
That's the first time ever money started going down there.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
And now John's coming up, John Bologna's coming up, and he's seeing everything going on. And Artie's the official boss of our area because, but so what? They never operated like that.
Right.
We were our own entity.
Yeah.
We're murderers. We're mobsters. We're racketeers. We're gangsters. We're everything that they are. And we're, so now their goal is they want to take everything because directly, if there's a made guy in our area and he's got a guy like the strip club guy, Jimmy Santinello, Anthony DeLavo had him, big earner, making 100,000 a net and 100,000, multi-millionaire, $100 million man. But he's partners with Anthony DeLavo, who's a Mad Hatter boss of our area, killer. They're taking his money, taking his guy and extorting him. How are you going to take a made guy's guy away from him? And that's what they wanted to do. There's scumbags in New York that were doing this. When I say New York, Artie and John, because Artie was a boss. So Artie was a greedy little boss, and now they want to go after Bruno because Bruno's too smart for them. Bruno was like, he's going to give him some, but Bruno's got it coming in from all directions.
Yeah.
Bruno's got $1 billion deals going on. Like, I mean, he's got like major.
How so? Like,
so there
construction?
was one. Yeah. So he's had one guy with Bruno had all walks of life. People love him. Like he had Carabetta back in the day was the biggest real estate in the country. If you go back and search Carabetta real estate and all that, they were one of the biggest, if not, right on the top of the whole country in owning real estate. And he was friends with those guys, multimillionaires. They had something going on with some mineral mine in another country that they were working on. Right. They were working on a cigarette deal out of construction, and that's what happened. On one of those deals, a captain in the Genovese family in Florida, Ray Ruggiero, puts together a deal. I was down in Florida with Bruno. We're talking with Ray. He's talking about this cigarette deal. Bruno's got the cigarette deal. But he needs help from the Genovese family. So Artie tells him to go talk to Ray Ruggiero, the captain down in Florida. I go with Bruno. Ray, because they needed help because it was somehow the state of Maryland was involved in this cigarette deal from China. They said they had the governor on the corrupt.
No.
But they needed $250,000 to pay him off. So Bruno's guys and his guys come up with $250,000. They go down and they bring it to Ray. And they're supposed to pay it the governor of Maryland. And they're waiting for the governor to pass something that was going on so they could get the okay with this big, I mean, this was going to be a hundreds of $1 million deal to do with cigarettes in China.
Yeah.
Something that was going on.
You're bringing the cigarettes from China here.
I don't know the exact things of it. All I know was cigarettes in China, and it was a major deal. They came up with $250 to give the governor. It was a robbery. They robbed him. Now that's a made guy robbing another made guy, a captain, which is a boss in Florida, robbing another boss in Massachusetts, and Artie giving the okay, giving the okay to it and getting a piece from it. Scumbag. So now, if they were going to do that to Bruno, their goal was to take Bruno down, make him a soldier, because they had to get him out of the way. Right. So that was their mission. That was their goal, right? Just to get him out of the way where they're not going to kill him or nothing. They're just going to say, Bruno, you're stripped of your rank. We don't like the job you're doing. And he wasn't doing a f***ed up job. They just wanted to take more money from our area.
Yeah.
This is what was going on. Now, at this time, I'm getting close with New York. I'm going down there a lot. This piece of John, he used to bring up a crew of guys from New York. I used to, good guys. I liked them all, younger guys. So I used to hang around with my guys. We were all vicious and violent and, dangerous. So, I liked them. But John would go to Artie and tell him all this and Artie was like, this kid, John would be like, you got to straighten this kid out. This kid's the real deal. This kid. So Artie, at this time around 2003, there's a labor dispute between Artie and this labor boss in New York, union boss, and something to do with the Lucchese family. But Artie wants the guy killed.
The union boss.
He calls me. John tells me Artie wants me to go down and see him down in New York. I go down. Artie says, I want you to. Can you, I don't know how he said it, but he tells me this is where the guy parks. This is where he comes out every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he wants me to kill him. Artie comes himself to show me where the guy parks and where he comes out. It was in the Bronx. So I go back, and he said use Joey and Reno, the two guys I told you that were supposed to get made.
Right.
Okay, because they were proposed guys.
Right.
So tell them, because Artie, what he's looking to do now, he's looking to make the three of us and have him direct with him down there. He's looking to build an army within an army.
Right.
So we're all loyal with him.
Right.
And we're direct with him, and he's got more control of our area because now we have to take direct orders from him.
So even though you don't like this guy, you see that he's f***ing up the money, you're playing it like
I don't like John, but Artie at this time, it's not like I don't like him at this point because he ain't doing nothing to me. He's the boss, and who gives a he's not taking no money out of my pocket. I don't like the way I'm just telling you how everything is transcribing, the way everything was going on. I don't have no hatred for him yet.
He's making it hot, though. He's making
making it hot. So when these extortions were going on, we had heat from law enforcement like you never believed.
Right.
That's why I told him. Then we had where they came out, we got a paper. I don't know how we ended up getting this paper with all our names that were involved in the extortion conspiracy. Yeah, and it was coming out of New York, so they were building a case, and they were hot on our ass. But they put a GPS listening device in my truck. I had expedition. Yeah,
I got it in one, bro, because I'm nice with it.
Good man. So they were on us hard.
Okay.
So
Had you killed anybody up to this point?
No, I was a violent guy growing up, never killed. We had, I plotted to kill people at this time. We had shootings at this time, but never killed anybody.
All right.
So I go back to Springfield. I tell the Joey and Reno kids, Artie wants you to come on a hit, kill a guy in New York. Joey, scared, take me off the list, runs away. Reno, nice kid, whatever. He says, because at this time now, there's a lot of craziness going on. There's Bruno, that's supposed to be the boss. Then there's me, that they respect. They know going on, like, because I'm around Bruno. But then you got this guy Felix that Reno was around. And then you got the guy John coming up that's direct with Artie. So Reno was just like confused. He didn't know what the to do. So these guys don't come with me. I go to my other two friends, Greek kids, Freddie and Ty. I said, and they're violent like me. We're all crazy, the three of us. I said, you want to come kill a guy with me in New York? And they were right away say, yeah. So during that first week or whatever, we make plans to go down there. We just go down there to see where the guy parks, where he gets out. And as we're going to do that, we see the guy come out of his house at 6 o'clock in the morning because we were down there at that time, but we didn't have guns on us.
Yeah.
We're not going to get out and beat him to death with a bat, so.
You're casing.
Yeah, so we went down, but he did come out at 6. He walked right by us. We're driving down the street. He comes walking right by. So the next day or the next day after, we go down with guns. We post up on the street. We had not steal a car. We had to steal plates off a car in New Haven, Connecticut, put them, magnet them on our car that we had. We had guns with silencers. Now we got to wait for this. And plus, it's like a 2-hour ride from Springfield to New York. So we got to wait for this guy to come out. I tell the guys, put the guns underneath the car in case cops pull up. They're like, hey, what are you guys doing parked in a car? Well, we're waiting for some girls. And they tell us, well, all right, no big deal. If they search the car, there's no guns in the car. We got them underneath the car. Guy doesn't come out of his house. So now we got to go all the way back with Springfield with the car, with the guns, right? Now, that's a risk right there with our records. We're looking at 20 years with silencers. We all have bad records, state prison records. We're all bad guys, right? So now, the next time we go down, I tell Freddie, go down and rent a room, bring the guns right near the place we're going to go. Then me and Ty go down there, and we jump into the car. We pick up Freddie. We go to the spot where we're going to kill the guy. Freddie's the driver. He parks down the street. Me and Ty sit on a bench. There's a little marsh that's a little parked away over there. That's where we kept the guns. We're sitting there waiting for the guy to get out. It's around 5:45. The guy comes out around that time, 5:45, 6, 6:15. Ty's got to go take a piss. He comes back. I said, busting his balls, lighting the mood. I said, Ty, what are you doing? You just left your DNA all over the place. We're going to kill a guy 100 feet away. The cops are going to come. This place is going to be loaded with cops. Your DNA's all over the bushes. He goes, are you serious? He's looking at me like he just up. I'm only teasing him, busting his balls, right? As we're doing this, the guy is coming out of the house. He's like almost across the street walking, I go, there he is, grab the gun. So we go, hurry up, we grab the guns and we start walking fast down the sidewalk, and then we cut through the parked cars because it was a street with all parked cars, and you got the street and all parked cars, So we cut through the cars. He's just getting into his car. And here we come up right to his driver's side window, and the two of us, pow, 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 pow. We shot like 18 shots to the 9 of them hit him. Freddie pulls up, and we get out of there.
He gone?
What?
He's gone. He's wasted.
We think he is. Like when we left, Freddie pulled up, and he says, "Oh yeah, he's dead." He was like there with his mouth open, blood everywhere. The window was shattered, blood. You could see blood, and.
Was it pretty wild to see the bullet coming out of the silencer?
When Ty got to the right, I was to the left, and Ty put his gun up first and went bang, and the window just shattered. Yeah. And then we were just pumping the bullets into the car.
Was it pretty surreal for you?
It was, like I said, we were built for that. It's, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're stone cold sober. This is our third time down there to do it. There was none of that where the nerves kick in. Right. There was none of, we're just thinking, we were just nuts. I look back at it now, it's like, we're going to kill a guy for no reason. And for what? For at the end of the day but the Mafia was still a big presence back then. In 03, the Genovese family, that's our area. I mean, still was a big, but we didn't need to be part of that. Me and those two brothers and the crew that I had besides them, the money makers I had, the guys that were vicious as we didn't need to be made members.
Right.
I already had my own crew, and I don't even call it my crew. I call it an associates of mine,
Right.
friends of mine.
That's right.
Like if me and you were in weed business,
Partners.
we're, he's my good friend.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe in shaking down people. I didn't like that business. I was a business minded guy. I believed in doing business with people. I believed networking. I believed in, everyone making money, putting guys with people. Let's all make
Right.
money. And that's why I built the biggest
Right.
bunch of guys. And I had all kinds of, guys around me.
But it's this cultural thing where just a young Italian kid from the 70s and 80s, you're like, that's getting drafted into the big leagues, and I got to do what I got to do to get my jackets.
Right, and I was taking
it.
it with a grain of thought, like grain of salt. Like Bruno wanted to make me in the 90s, I could say, yeah, whatever. And, now he wanted to make me again in 01. I said, yeah, whatever. And now this guy got me going to shoot a guy. And we just did it because I didn't think I was going to get made over that. I'm not thinking that. I'm just thinking, like, if you told us, go give a guy a beating, we would go. If there was somebody bothered us, and I told you, we were going to kill someone prior to this, and we were all set to kill him. He got lucky he didn't get killed, but that was going to be a body case. And so it was just in us, things like that, violence and all that. It was just something that we just didn't. We just would do it. So when a guy asked us to go down and kill a guy in New York, it wasn't like someone else, even me. I look back then and saying, Jesus, you guys are nuts, but that's how we were. Back then.
You kind of did things unthinking. If the
No,
boss
not
said
unthinking.
so, but if the boss said do something,
yeah, it was like
you did it.
Thinking stupidly, like looking back. Yeah, not thinking for yourself.
Yeah.
Being just like an idiot.
That's
you
right.
know, like I'm a millionaire at this point, multi-millionaire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
I got a family, I got kids, I got what the fuck? I'm risking my life to go shoot some guy in New York City,
Right.
and kill a guy for, you know what I'm saying? For I look back at that now, but at that time it was like I said, it was like asking nothing.
But I think, to be fair, culturally, this is how you grew up. You obviously made a lot of bad decisions, but there's many people from different subcultures that were violent, that did things in their 20s and 30s that they're now 60 years old and being like, I was a totally different person.
Right. And I was on another podcast earlier. I said the same thing. It's like sometimes people do things when they're 17. Like I said, I had a friend, I was in prison with Manny. He killed someone at 17. He ended up doing 30 years. It was a mistake. The kid's a great kid, great man today.
Right.
And, it's just you make mistakes, bad decisions when you're a young guy. And to me, that wasn't a bad decision going down and killing the guy because it was just my whole life was bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say one was worse than the other. Right. It was just like not thinking clearly, maybe not having a strong enough mentor to say, hey, you an idiot. What are you, stupid?
Right.
You guys are capable of killing someone. What do you need them for?
Yeah.
You guys are making millions of dollars. What do you need them for?
Yeah.
Them.
I think peer pressure is part of it too.
And there was a guy in my area that got made, a young kid who I hated at the time, Emilio Fusco. He tried to get me killed, and he was we call him a zip or whatever. He came over from Italy, and they made him, and we didn't think he deserved to get made. Yeah. So I was like, it kind of like said, and I was thinking that camaraderie type to it. Like, you know what, we could build something here, because then we did become friends, and we got close. So I said, maybe we could build something here. Make 4 or 5 guys. There was some Connecticut guys I wanted to put in with us.
Yeah.
And we could have like a nice little, club.
Right. But this union boss doesn't sound like he died.
Right.
Okay, so continue.
So the next day we get word that he's dead. He's in the hospital, but he's on life support.
Right.
Got shot 9 times and he's not going to make it. So we got word from Bologna. But a day or two later, we find out, he ends up not dying. He got shot 9 times. Every shot was from his neck up. Okay, so his 9 shots that hit him, I think he still got the bullets. There was another thing. He actually came out and talked about it on one of our podcasts called Up Against the Mob. The guy that did that was the prosecutor of the Southern District of New York. So he had him come on and he explained it. He said that one of the bullets is still in him. Miraculously, this guy survived. How, I don't know. And the guns that I used to kill him were given to me by the boss, Artie Nigro. So if he wants to blame anybody for getting better at headshots, like he told me, well, You gave us the guns. We shot him from the neck up. I mean, think about it. You're sitting in the car like you are now, and two guys come up, and you're kind of tall. So, but picture you're sitting in your car. These guys are shooting at you, and they're standing up. Where do you think the shots are hitting you? They're not hitting you in your foot or your neck. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
He did. He said he got hit all upper chest, head, whatever. And he miraculously, the guy lived, survived.
What happens next? What became of that?
So, you know, Artie loves us. The bosses in New York love us because they had okay to hit, and we're like a badass crew. Me and my guys. I'm a badass, and my crew's a badass. We're known for being a vicious crew that was able to go to New York and do a hit for them.
Right.
You know, even though the guy didn't die, he was still on the streets of New York. We shot him 9 times and whatever. Yeah. It was like
balls.
Yeah, it's luck, you know. So, but now they know they got guys like us that are capable.
Yeah.
In both ways. Like not them. I was like more like money wise. Like I put them on to make them a lot of money. But like I was like, I had a crew of guys that were, I made millionaires out of my crew. Like not just me making millions, I made millionaires out of the guys that were around me. And so we were capable of violence, murder, and money. Yep. So I got a great reputation all throughout Connecticut. Because the Genovese family had other guys throughout Connecticut too. They had Buster Ardito, notorious maniac of a gangster. He was out of Stanford. They got this other guy, Gus Curcio, another killer, Bridgeport area, and things like that, Genovese. And so it's like they're all getting like feedback. Like there's a kid Anthony, bosses in New York, Larry Dentico, Mario Gigante, who was like kind of a mentor to me, Mario. Right. It was like these guys know, like are now like aware saying they were bosses. Then they told this one guy in my area, there was a thing going on. He goes, "You treat Anthony like you would treat me." And that's coming from a boss in New York. Right. So that's the reputation I had after that.
So now you're really on the radar. From the most important people in the Genovese family. What did you get straightened out?
Yeah, that was the hit was like in April. I got straightened out in August. Okay, day before my daughter was born.
Brought you down to New York to do?
Brought me to the Bronx. Yep.
They do the prick of the finger.
Everything, gun and a knife on the table. They pick you up. You leave all your jewelry at the restaurant that you meet at. Beepers, gun. I mean, your jewelry. You leave all that there. They take you for a ride where you're going. At that time, there was 4 of us that were getting made, and they took 2 of us at a time each, right? So they would take you there, and then you go in. The guy who whispers in your ear, you go make sure when they ask you, do you know why you're there? I mean, come on, everyone knows that. You know why you're there? No, I don't know why I'm here. But the guy whispered, a captain in the family whispered, so they bring us there, and there was captains there, and like I said, Artie took over as boss at this time for the Bronx area, Bronx, Florida, and Connecticut and Mass. Right. Then they had like Mario doing Manhattan, and they had Larry doing New Jersey. And so they were using it like that, because the Chin Gigante, he was in prison. Dominic, Quiet Dom, he was getting ready to go to prison, or if he wasn't in it at that point.
But this is a very organized crew. I've never heard of 3 bosses that have different pieces of turf, different territories.
And with them, you don't even know if it was really like that. They could have had 3 front panel guys on the panel, but I believe it was like that.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, and then they had some other guy that was hidden that was really the boss, so, but that's what they were doing at that particular time.
So how did life change, if at all, after you got straightened out?
Nothing. Not a thing. Right. It was like, in fact, not a thing changed. I went down in August 12th. August 11th, I get my button, and I come back to Springfield, and it was the same exact thing, other than having black marks on my hand from burning the tissue and, crumpling it up and the fire. There was no. I already had a feared reputation, a feared crew. They knew I had money. I had a networking system with me. I guess what it did was, the only benefit I did was now is, say for instance, there was a beef. You were my partner in Connecticut, and somebody went in on him to try to shake him down, which just happened before. Right. It was a made guy went in there to try, not a made guy, but somebody went in there to shake him down. Well, he's got to go now to somebody to help sit for him to straighten it out. Now I'm that guy. Right. It's like before we wouldn't even care before. We'd be like, get the f out of here. You ain't shaking down none of us, Right. But now it's official where we could sit down with, say, you know, some other family or some, you know, some straighten out.
Right.
And that did happen in Connecticut where we had a beef with not a beef with the patriarchs. Someone went in affiliated with the patriarchs and tried to do that. And, you know, I went and sat with Louis from Providence. He was the boss of the patriarchs. Carmen D'Annunzio, he was the boss of Boston for the patriarchs. And we straightened it all out.
So now you can sit down and mediate with bosses, with other families.
Which I did, right.
Yeah.
And Providence boss knows, the patriarchs know I'm made, but we kept it a secret because I got introduced to them as made guys. But we kept it low in my immediate area. We didn't want the heat from law enforcement.
Right.
So Bruno didn't know I was made. The only ones that knew, the only one that knew was Felix Tringhese. And my guys, a couple guys in my crew, like, you know, they knew.